Greetings, everyone. It's me again, Abba. Yes, I'm representing the African Kingdoms Federation here in the United Kingdom. The African Kingdoms Federation is headed by Her Imperial Majesty Empress Sheba Deborah Kasumsura III, the Queen of Sheba, Queen of the South, or Imperial Matriarch. I said I'm a part of the African Kingdoms Federation Life Skills Academy, whose commanding officer is Executive Crown Minister Dr. Lady Marlene Sir. Yes, she's our commanding officer. Um, these life skills courses, quick and short, what they're about is to place you firmly in the driving seat of your life. You had control before you made your decisions and got to where you are now. But here is a tool that will guarantee you success once you apply it. These 19 life skills will elevate your thinking to a more strategic level, minimizing poor decision making that leads you into traps in life. These are especially relevant now that we are embracing the fourth industrial revolution that seeks to impact every aspect of our lives. So, with that now, I'll introduce my little bite size. I know I've given you guys a little break, but it's back to work. I've just come off of a summit with Her Imperial Majesty, and we need to keep moving. So I'm gonna give you a little bit about the emotional tone scale. The emotional tone scale, I've chosen this one because we had a magnificent summit in Jamaica, from the Jamaica team, over the Zoom. That was the topic, and I wanted to share it with you as much as my excitement from that training is still here. So, the emotional tone scale. Now, emotional tone scale, those three words together, they put images in your mind. So, emotions, now, when you hear emotions, you'll think of your feelings. When you hear tone, a lot of things come to mind, but the whole music aspect of things comes into mind. It's the level of somebody's voice, that tinge that you hear in that voice. If you hear fear, if you hear pride, if you hear joy, if you hear sadness, that's the tone. And the scale also linked to the music, but also as a measurement. Yes, so if you put something in the scale, you weigh it, right? um Justice as it is a pair of scales, you understand? So the scale now, it it it, it identifies different regions, different levels of vibration. So imagine now the emotional tone scale would be the level of vibration in your feelings that is expressed in your actions when you encounter people. So at once you see that the emotional tone scale is a tool to assist you in communicating with people. So if you have from the law, formula for communication, your intention as the cause to communicate with someone who is the effect over a distance, you have to get their attention. To get their attention, you have to raise their affinity. And this is the emotional tone scale to see where they are at now along the tone scale. If they're way down, like they're not feeling too well, they don't want to interact with people, or they have high enthusiasm for life itself. And then in the instance that you find them, in the intention that you want to pass on to them, are they in the mood to hear this? I mean, if someone's family member has passed, you don't expect them to be enthusiastic about a trip to the beach, so it's pointless you speaking to them about that, because their emotional tone reflects low affinity with your intention. So this is it. In your general lives, you have had conflicts with people that you still have to share the same space with. And say, for instance, now after some disagreement, you see that person and you say hello, if you are minded to say hello, if you're the one who wants to say hello, and that person will answer you, but the answer they give you is not that bright, perky answer, that answer that is free, it's an answer that is muffled. You can hardly hear them say good morning, if that's what they say. Sometimes they leave off the good and just say morning. They don't face you when they're saying hello. They're definitely not looking in your eyes. These are how you can gauge the emotional tone of the person. So, yeah, I was just checking the time to see that I wasn't overrunning, because it's a bite size. So, yes, in those circumstances, you this is how the emotional tone plays out. So in that experience of coming off of a disagreement or a conflict that has not been fully resolved, approaching the person, you will gauge the level of affinity to you by their emotional tone, and their emotional tone is reflected in their actions. So this emotional tone, it surveys not only circumstances presently, but recurring circumstances. So like they would term that chronic this, chronic that, in terms of fear, anger, and all of these things. If it's chronic, that means it's a repeated action. It's a response that you take automatically when confronted with that situation. And because it's chronic, it's killing you, basically. Because when you constantly are angry, it releases hormones in your body that it kills your body, basically. So anger is not good for you nor the person who you're throwing out anger to. And that's very low on the emotional tone scale. So the lower it goes, it's like your fuel in your tank. It's going low and low and low, and the emotional tone scale tells you that there ain't much fuel to light this fire of enthusiasm for life in itself. Because when you are enthusiastic about life, which is at the top end of the emotional tone scale, you tend to want to get on with all forms of life. So you take care of plants, you take care of animals, people in your surroundings. You see the positive in them. You to seek to repair damaged situations. You want to see progress, you want to see happiness. So the emotional tone scale identifies where someone is in the ways to happiness, which is a social betterment campaign that comes on the back of these life skills. So as you can see, this emotional tone scale, it's connected to every other life skill, and it's something that you need to master. Say, okay, I'm coming to you now. My intention is to inform you about these life skills. But when I approach you, you've got a plate of food in your hand and you haven't sat down yet, but you've picked up a bit of the food and started eating. That means to me, your emotional tone is reflecting that you have low affinity with the intention that I have to impart to you. So, what do I need to do? I need to raise your affinity to the subject or my intentions. You understand? And so therefore now I must do some form of investigation to see if there's a possibility that you have an affinity with it. As long as, say for instance, you've remedied what's distracting you at the time, which is you're hungry. If you eat something, will you be in a better position now to listen to what I have to say about these life skills and how they can impact your lives? So that's the emotional tone scale in use. And you can find more on this emotional tone scales on www.volunteerministers.org. Do that life skill, complete it, get your certificate, put them all together, send them off to summitinfo110@gmail.com. That will get them into the African Kingdoms Federation, and then they will send you your evaluation, and then you're well on your way to becoming a task force officer to roll out the Project 7 Phoenix agenda, which is that which is set out by Her Imperial Majesty Empress Sheba Deborah Kasum Surah III. When your evaluation comes out to you, then you're under direct tutelage of my commanding officer, Her Excellency Lady Marlene Sir, who will guide us through getting those life skills into our beings. Here in the UK, there will be, or there is, a chapter, and we will identify the day when we will be doing that large scale training with our commanding officer in attendance. So I hope the emotional tone scale, a little bit that I gave to you, was enough for you to be interested to go and look it up now and complete the course and apply it to your lives, and then be convinced that there is a role for you within the African Kingdoms Federation Task Force. Yes. Blessed love. I am Abba, Father Joe the Ghetto Diplomat, Smiley General, all of these is the same man. Different missions at times, but they're coming all in one because everything is for the one human family. Yes, irrespective of any group that you want to put yourself to, subgroup, the group that we belong to is the creation, and the earth is our planet. And as a task force officer, you will learn to preserve all forms of life. These life skill courses are the way to do that. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you got some more understanding of what these life skills are about, especially how to utilize the emotional tone scale. Blessed love. Rastafari, one in life.